Welcome, fellow learners. Today, we will dive deep into the world of workplace safety. As you know, OSHA has a 10-hour course for workers. However, completing this course can be somewhat difficult if you haven't prepared for it. But don't worry, we have developed an incredible study guide that will make passing this course a piece of cake. That's right, the OSHA Outreach 10-hour construction study guide is here to make your compliance journey easy and convenient. This guide has 11 modules, and we will explore each of these modules in a series of videos. Subscribe now and press the bell icon to get updated. Let's move to Module 1, Introduction to OSHA and the Occupational Safety and Health Act. The purpose of Module 1 is to provide workers with introductory information about OSHA. The information about OSHA's history, mission, worker rights, and employer responsibilities under OSHA standards, OSHA inspections, and safety and health resources, including how to file an OSHA complaint. This part will prove beneficial for those who are directly or indirectly involved with OSHA and the Occupational Safety and Health Act. The module is comprised of the following 6 lessons. First, why is OSHA important to you? Second, what rights do you have under OSHA? Third, what responsibilities does your employer have under OSHA? Fourth, what do the OSHA standards say? Fifth, how are OSHA inspections conducted? Last but not least, where can you go for help? Let's see important key terms. MSDS, the Material Safety Data Sheet, is a document that contains hazard-related information about a specific chemical or formulation. OSHA, the Occupational Safety and Health Administration. PPE, the personal protective equipment, includes hard hats, gloves, boots, and eye protection, along with respiratory aids. Let's start the first lesson. Why is OSHA important to you? The key points are: OSHA was created because, until 1970, there were no specific laws to protect workers' rights and standards for workplace safety. Since then, a significant decline has been observed in workplace accidents and fatalities by more than 60% and injuries and illnesses by 40%. Some states have OSHA-approved state plans that cover only state-specific standards and local government workers. State plan programs respond to accidents and safety complaints and conduct unannounced inspections like the federal OSHA. The OSHA approves and monitors all state plans. The state plans must be as effective as the federal OSHA requirements. 22 states and territories operate complete plans, and 4 cover only the public sector. Lastly, the estimated cost of occupational injuries and illnesses ranges from $145 billion to $290 billion annually for direct and indirect costs. Here are the stats of workplace injuries. On average, 15 workers die every day from job injuries. Over 5,600 Americans die from workplace injuries annually. Each year, over 4 million non-fatal workplace injuries and illnesses are reported. Let's have a look at the study questions. Moving on to the second lesson, what rights do you have under OSHA? The key points are: the right to review the injury and illness log includes former employees, their personal representatives, and authorized employee representatives. OSHA regulations protect workers who complain to their employer about unsafe or unhealthful conditions in the workplace. You cannot be transferred, denied a raise, have your hours reduced, be fired, or punished in any other way because you have exercised any right afforded to you under the Occupational Safety and Health Act. Since you are often closest to potential safety and health hazards, you have a vested interest in reporting problems so that the employer gets them fixed. If the hazard is not corrected, you should then contact OSHA. The Occupational Safety and Health Act protects employees from retaliation for reporting workplace safety or health concerns, initiating proceedings, requesting information from OSHA, or testifying under the Act. In some cases, employees may refuse to work in dangerous conditions. If you believe you have been punished for exercising your safety and health rights, you must contact OSHA within 30 days. If you file a complaint, you have the right to find out OSHA's action on the complaint and request a review if an inspection is not made. You have the right to talk to the inspector privately. You may point out hazards, describe injuries, illnesses, or near misses that resulted from those hazards, and describe any concern you have about a safety or health issue. In last, good faith means that even if an imminent danger is not found to exist, the worker had reasonable grounds to believe that it did. Since the conditions necessary to justify a work refusal are very stringent, refusing work should be an action taken as a last resort. Let's have a look at the study questions. The third lesson is about what responsibilities does your employer have under OSHA? Key points are: PPE programs should be implemented. It should address the hazards present, the selection, maintenance, and use of PPE, the training of employees, and monitoring of the program to ensure its ongoing effectiveness. Employers are required to determine if PPE should be used to protect their workers. Let's have a look at the study questions. Moving on to the fourth lesson, which is about what do the OSHA standards say? Key points are: the CFR is divided into titles, and OSHA's standards are in Title 29. Under each part, such as Part 1926, significant blocks of information are broken into subparts. For example, Subpart C is named General Safety and Health Provisions. Subpart C contains sections 1926.20 through 1926.35. In last, all OSHA standards are available on OSHA's website. You can look them up by the standard number or search by topic. Now, let's look at the study questions. Moving on to the fifth lesson, how are OSHA inspections conducted? Key points are: OSHA conducts inspections without advance notice, except in rare circumstances. For example, when there is a report of an imminent danger, anyone who tells an employer about an OSHA inspection in advance can receive fines and a jail term. Referrals usually are from a government agency, such as the National Institute for Occupational Safety and Health or a local health department. They are handled the same way as complaints. A follow-up is made to see if the violations cited earlier were fixed. Monitoring inspections are made to make sure hazards are being corrected and workers are protected whenever a long period of time is needed for a hazard to be fixed. The certified health and safety officer may also interview workers, take photographs or videos, and monitor worker exposure to noise, air contaminants, or other substances. The certified health and safety officer will conduct all worker interviews privately, although workers may request that a union representative be present. Citations are sent in the mail at a later date, no later than 6 months after the inspection. The certified health and safety officer takes the findings back to the office and writes up a report. The area director reviews it and makes the final decision about any citations and penalties. OSHA may adjust a penalty downward depending on the gravity of the violation, the employer's good faith, efforts to comply with the act, the history of previous violations, and the size of the business. Although employers and workers each have rights to disagree with, or appeal, parts of an OSHA citation, the employer has more rights than workers related to citations. Employers may request an informal conference with OSHA to discuss a case. They can also reach a settlement agreement with OSHA that adjusts citations and penalties to avoid prolonged legal disputes. Both workers and the employer have the right to participate in the hearing and request a further review of the judge's decision by the Commission. Lastly, if the employer contests a violation or abatement date, the situation does not have to be fixed until there is a final legal order. However, if only the penalty is contested, the violation must be fixed by the date in the citation. Now, look at the study questions. Moving on to the last lesson of Module 1, where can you go for help? The key points are: OSHA standards require bilingual signs and labels for hazard communication, egress, confined space, and bloodborne pathogens to ensure all workers can comprehend them. Orientation manuals and training materials about your job should include information about how to work safely. If you have questions about a new job or task that has changed, be sure to ask for the written procedures and additional training. When discussing a health concern with your healthcare provider, provide as much information about the chemical or substance as possible. Get the names and MSDSs or labels of the chemicals you are exposed to. In last, remember that discrimination against health and safety activity is illegal. If you are a union representative, you may wish to have your name on the complaint. Now, look at the study questions. If you have any questions, write them in the comment section. We will resume with Module 2 in the next video. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon for updates. Until then, stay safe.